So guys, you've asked me to do for you a more detailed video on how to trade gold based on the previous video that I posted out for you guys, and you guys have had so many questions concerning some of the details for that strategy. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys a more detailed way on how I trade gold, and I hope you guys will be able to take value from this video. If you find this interesting and intriguing and knowledgeable, or if it adds any knowledge or any value to you, consider giving a like on the video, subscribe, and also comment down below with your other questions. Remember guys, I asked you to give at least 500 likes on the previous video, and you guys have so far done about 400 likes, which is good. So I'm coming back with this one to give you guys more value and more detail on the strategy. So let's go onto the charts now, and I'll show you guys how I go about finding entries on gold. And you can use this on any other currency pair, but I like to use this strategy specifically for gold because it works really good with gold. So let's go on the charts and I'll show you guys this strategy right now. Yeah, so guys, we are on the gold chart. As you guys can see, this was the analysis we did last time on the gold strategy that I posted out. I'll leave a link to that strategy video at the end of this one. You can go watch it to find out the detail of this analysis we did on this gold trading strategy. So this strategy, you guys had so many questions to ask, so I'm going to simplify it. I'm going to redo the strategy, guys, for you who did not watch that video. I'll redo it here, but if you want to watch a more detailed video on that, then you can go watch the video at the end of this one. So this is where we were at last time, and I told you guys that this is what I was expecting on the trades to play out for gold. Let me just go back to that area. Okay, go back to this area here. So on the 30 minutes chart, I told you guys that after the break of this trend line, which is a daily trend line, I was expecting some sort of retest on that trend line before the market can go lower. Or if the market breaks above the trend line, then I would expect it to come to this blue zone here, which is a weekly zone, and then push up to psychological level up here of 2,500. But this one did not happen. What happened was there was a retest, as I had shown you here. There was a retest on the trend line and then a push to the downside, though it did not reach the weekly level which we had anticipated it to reach, but this was still a good setup for you to sell on the 30 minutes chart right here. Yes, if you sold here after this retest, you would make this money right here. Okay, but we're not going to dwell on that because that trade has gone. And so what I want to do now is I want to show you guys a more systematic step-by-step way using trend lines, which is a much easier way to do this than what I showed you last time. It is much more easier to do that. So let me just go over to the monthly chart, and then we'll draw this again. Hopefully you guys will understand. Let me just remove all the drawings, and then we are going to start from the monthly chart again. Okay, go to the monthly chart and start from the higher time frame. You guys were asking last time how to do these psychological levels, and you asked when and how we should draw these psychological levels. But these psychological levels here, you can draw them on round numbers or numbers that are obvious. For example, if you went to a shop to buy something, or to buy let's say a loaf of bread, and the shopkeeper told you the bread costs say $1.2567.566, it would be very confusing to you. So normally items or commodities are sold in round numbers, their pricing is in round numbers. Okay, so yeah, all right, so we are here on the monthly chart. So what I told you last time is when you're doing this strategy on gold, you can do this on any other currency pair. It doesn't have to be on the gold, but when you're doing this, always consider the round numbers. So we are going to drop these on the chart. Just first drop them randomly, okay, like this, and then we are going to edit these to round numbers. This one on top, just going to make it 3,000. Okay, and then this one we're going to make it 2,500. Okay, and then this one we are going to make it 2,000. Okay, and then this one here we're going to make it 1,500, right, like this. Okay, these are the levels that we drew last time. Okay, so what I want to do is I want you to draw some zones around those levels. Just draw a zone like this, okay? And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to clone them, clone, and then clone, okay? Just want to clone them so that they look the same, okay? They're the same size. And then put zones around that psychological level. Each psychological level, put a zone around it, okay? I want you to follow step by step so that you don't lose a pace, okay? So that you are up to speed. So this is on the monthly chart. These are the psychological levels on the monthly chart. What I want you to do now is look at the price action on the monthly chart. Where is the price? Price action has come into this psychological level, and you can see it's now producing this bearish candle here around the psychological level. So we might expect gold to sell off a bit, okay, back down to the weekly level, which we're going to now look at. You go to the weekly chart right here, and on the weekly chart, what I want you to do on the weekly chart is I want you to draw your levels of support and resistance according to what you're seeing. Don't draw what you don't see, draw what you can see. Now, like here, last time I told you there's a level right here, because you can see there are some multiple rejections here. We can color code this to blue, okay? There's a level right here, and then on top here we also have some small rejections here, okay? There's some rejection right here. So this is the weekly chart, right? This is the weekly chart. Those are the levels on the weekly chart. And then we go down to the daily chart. Now this is the daily chart right here. Now on the daily chart, I want you to be very careful on the daily chart, and I also want you to be very careful when you're drawing these levels. Do not over clutter your chart, otherwise you will get confused. Now you can see on the daily chart that the price has come into this level, which is a psychological level. It has come near it, okay? It has not really tapped into it, but it has come near it and gotten some selling pressure. Now the market last week, when I was talking to you guys, it was around here, okay? And I anticipated that it might reject and come back down here, but it did just pull back a bit, and then it started pushing up again back to this level, rejected it, and it has come back down to create a higher low, okay? You guys can see that there is a high here, a low here, okay? And then there is a higher low which was created last week there, okay? And then here we had a high, okay? And then we had equal high here. So we expect that the market might go up to this level, okay? And maybe pull back down from there to here, okay? That is what I expect. Yeah, so we are expecting that the market will come to this level right here and then give us some sort of a sell-off from this level to there. If it doesn't do that, then we may expect it to break above here, give us some sort of a retest around this zone, then push us up to this psychological level right here. This is what I expect. But before we make those conclusions, we go down to the daily, to the 4-hour chart rather. Go to the 4-hour chart, okay? In the 4-hour chart, we can adjust this like this, okay? This is what we expect the market to do on the 4-hour chart, okay? Something like this on the 4-hour chart. Now, on the 4-hour chart, what do we see? We see that there is a current trend moving up. Remember that there was a trend here, okay? There was a trend here which was broken, and now there is a trend which is forming going up, okay? So we anticipate that when the market reaches on that level there and breaks below this trend line, okay, something gives us something like this, a break below this trend line like this, we may get some sort of a retest before it sells off to this level right here, okay? So this is what we anticipate to happen. So on the 4-hour chart, you're looking at drawing your trend lines, okay? You can also draw them on the daily chart, but the 4-hour chart gives you better clarity with the trend lines. So in actual sense, you can put your small trend line right here, okay? And let's first remove this. And then you go down to the 30 minutes chart. That's where you're going to look for your entries, okay? So on the 30 minutes chart, you can adjust this trend line just to make sure it is fitting, okay? Make sure it fits properly like this, okay? Some of you will argue that this is not a correct trend line, but that's how I draw my trend line. So wait for the markets to break this trend line, something like this, break of this trend line, some sort of a pullback before you enter to trade up to down here. If this does not happen, then we are looking at a breakout of this weekly zone, a retest around this area, then up to this psychological level. So this is the explanation I wanted to give you guys. Use trend lines on the 4-hour chart and look for your entries on the 30 minutes chart. Your psychological levels, you draw them on the monthly chart. You can also draw them on the weekly chart as long as you find the round numbers, okay? It's all about finding the round numbers. I hope this explains to you guys who are asking some questions concerning this strategy. Just to give you a recap, you start drawing your levels on the monthly chart, okay? Start by drawing levels on the monthly chart, which are your psychological levels, okay, so that you know where the price is at. After you've drawn them on the monthly chart, drop down to the weekly chart to look for areas of support and resistance, okay? Once you've drawn those in, come down to the daily chart and look for more areas of support and resistance. If you don't see them, don't force them. Move on to the lower time frame, okay? Like now here, we skipped the daily and went down to the 4-hour chart. In the 4-hour chart, we got some sort of a small trend line right here, okay? Small trend line right here, which we drew in. And then from there, we went down to the 30 minutes chart to look for entries around that 4-hour trend line breaks, or if there is a break of structure on the weekly levels, then we can take a trade in that corresponding direction. I hope guys this helps you out who have not understood the previous video. Hope this one helps you out. If you've liked the content, please drop a like on the video and also subscribe to the channel. It really goes a long way to show your support. Thank you for watching. Until next time, peace and out.